Officially in the NBA Finals, 2 games in. We are here, and man, it has been electric. Knicks versus Spurs. Obviously, that's going to be a big part of this conversation. Later on in the episode, we are going to break down game 1 and game 2.
Pandora's box might get opened.
Yeah, man.
We're closer than we've ever been to Pandora's box being opened.
Dude, we're right there, man. It's been what, 51 some odd
53.
years?
It's been 53 years since they won the title.
Yeah. 53 years, and they are 2 games away, and New York might not be able to handle that. I saw some videos like that. It is a whole nother conversation, but man, it's going to be cool. Could be cool. Obviously, still got 2 more games to go. We're going to talk about it. I was just telling you off mic that I literally woke up because I fell asleep during game 2, which is I was so mad at myself when that happened, but you know, having a kid makes you tired. And so I was quickly getting ready to leave the house to come to the office, and I saw them starting to show the highlight of Wemby's shot at the end. That if it had gone in, they probably win. And so I saw the highlight of the shot. I didn't see it go in. I just saw the highlight, and I was like, "Oh, cool! They're showing this. I guess that means the Spurs won. Cool." And I left, and I thought the Spurs won for like an hour. And then I was running the ESPN show, and they run an update talking about how he missed that shot. And I was like, oh, man, they showed the highlight of him missing. Poor Wemby. Like, dang, here we are. But either way, we're going to talk about all that. That's going to be a big bulk of the episode. But we do want to take a step back to the conference finals, more specifically in the West, and more specifically about OKC and really what's next for them. I know we always do doom meters and things like that. I guess I'll just rip the Band-Aid off with Doom Meter. I'm not worried about them really that much from an aspect of, like, they've got a really good core. They're all young. Now, I know money is going to be a huge conversation for them this offseason. I think they're, like, extremely over where they want to be. I think it's like a $200 million hit or something that could potentially be coming their way. So that's more where I would focus on for the OKC Thunder. The bodies, the team are great. But now a lot of these young guys are getting to that level of the next contract that they've agreed to is going to kick in. I think Chet goes from like 14 to like 40 million and stuff like that. So that's a big part of the conversation for OKC more than it is the players and actually playing. Now, if you have to start losing players, yes, you start trying to scheme. But I would say seeing what the bench was able to do for OKC and the amount of bodies and players that they could rely on, like, I'm not too worried if you have to lose a guy here or there. And this is probably what's going to happen, right? But I don't know. I guess you could have worse problems is my point.
No, 100%. And I mean, you're right. It's a mixed bag because I definitely think they're not on the doom meter. They're not for anywhere near the bottom. And I mean, this is a flashback to happier times currently for Spurs fans who are, of course, coming off that electric game. Right. And Game 7 was awesome. I mean, when we recorded last episode, you know, we said that SGA needed to have an MVP game, and he had an MVP game. I mean, he was phenomenal in Game 7. You know, down the stretch, it looks like they kind of ran out of gas. But, you know, I think the Thunder, the only thing I think you can hang your hat on a little bit if you're the Thunder is that, look, Jalen Williams was out, who was injured for a large majority of not just this series, but the postseason. But it also just shifted, I think, too, when AJ Mitchell went out. When Mitchell went out, like, he played so well when Jalen Williams was hurt, and that you basically just didn't realize, he didn't notice it. Like, he kind of kept them at that elite form. When they both were unable to go, I think that became a little bit too much to overcome, you know. And look, like, there was a lot on the other depth guys, right? It was Jalen Williams, it was Caruso, it was Cason Wallace. Like, they were asking a lot out of them offensively. Like, even our guy Jared McCain, as well as he was playing, like, he was taking a lot of shots, like way more than I think he would have been normally asked to go on the rotation. I mean, the despair meter, though, is definitely not zero, because this is a team who, though they were fresh off the title, which certainly helps, you know, had a very real chance to go back to back. They were the number 1 seed and finished with the best record in the NBA. Like, they had a very real chance to be back in the finals right now, and they weren't. And they lost to a team who, you know, kind of had their number all year long. And really, you know, in this new rivalry that's budded here, especially this season, I think that's a little bit bitter to them. It certainly feels like we're going to get the Thunder and the, you know, Spurs battling for quite a long time.
Multiple years, yeah. Well, and before you get too far past it, I know you mentioned it with players that were stepping up for the injured guys with Jalen Williams being out. Um, and you're right, Alex Caruso, Jared McCain, Dort, all guys who shot, you would say, pretty poorly in that last game, at least, 1 of 6 for Caruso, 2 of 7 for Jared McCain. But I don't think we admit, and maybe we have to make it its own part of this conversation. So if that's the case, you can continue on with what you're saying and we'll come back to it. But like the things that I think we should focus on a little bit more is like Chet was rough.
Yeah.
And Hartenstein was, I would say, kind of equally as rough, if that makes sense. Like he was a little bit more, I guess the word is like you didn't feel like it was so visible. Whereas like Chet looked visibly just like he was not, especially in that last game, he was just getting bullied.
No, Chet was horrible.
Wemby. Yeah.
It was horrible. It's inexcusably horrible. And it was like beyond the 4 points, like it was just passive. Like a lot of what, and this is what we'll talk about kind of in the matchups, is they just basically, because Chet was unwilling to shoot the 3 ball, something that he had been willing to shoot in that series. Like it's crazy because Chet had good games in this series, even after his stinker in game 1 against Wemby. Like I feel like he had bounced back pretty well, and then he just completely lost his confidence and never really got back into rhythm. And I think that was the problem too, is everybody knew he wasn't going to shoot. Like he just looked like he wasn't going to be a part of that offense. He phased himself out of that game. And then so particularly that becomes a nightmare in that matchup because you could just allow Wemby to camp the paint then. And so Wemby just then can completely shut down every driving lane and makes SGA's life miserable. It makes the Thunder basically morph into a 3-point shooting team, which they haven't been all season long. Like the Thunder have been good at the 3 ball, but it's not like they've been out here bombing away like the Celtics or something like that, where they're like setting, near league record clips every game, it feels like.
And some of those shots that like Jared McCain put up, I was kind of like, I don't know if you want him taking that. And I get it.
You don't though, but that's part of the problem. And that's why Chet not shooting is the problem.
Right.
Like that all goes back to the point of like, and that as you get into the OKC offseason, right? Like I think you were trying to structure the conversation here. I think there's 2 things that are big question marks, if you will. One is what you already mentioned was the financial aspect, and we'll get to that in a sec. But before we get that, it is Chet Holmgren. I do want to talk about that because like Chet Holmgren is paid to be a number 2, number 3 option. A few episodes ago with Mason and Andrew, we talked about this and like, where do what is Chet Holmgren actually as an option? But yeah, the reality is he needs to get better. And I don't know if it's like, Wemby just completely took his lunch money. There's no way around it. Like Wemby just came through, and it's not just the fact that he was dominating it. It's that he completely, like Chet looked mentally out of the game. It's the fact that he didn't even want to shoot. Like if Chet goes out shooting and misses a zillion shots and Wemby just plays well, but Chet's still aggressive and getting his looks, I can at least live with that. I can't live with him being passive. Like he can't be that passive, especially again, it's even more on display given what we talked about with all the injuries. Like they needed Chet to be a focal point more than ever. And you're right, he just that's unfortunately, and again, recency bias, but like that's going to leave a bitter taste in everybody's mouth for the offseason. He was brutal.
Dude, 4 points, 4 rebounds, like not good at all. And just looked like, I mean, even on I forget, it was towards the end of the game, but like even on like sort of drives where like he had attempted to drive, he's fallen down, and it's just like it looked awkward. Like at least Hartenstein looked like he was out there trying to like, take someone's head off, which, some would argue he was kind of doing. But like, Hartenstein getting blocked, that was a huge block, by the way. That really turned Game 7. Honestly, I think if Hartenstein dunks that, or if that goes in, we might be watching an OKC Knicks series. There is a legitimate chance that that's the case. And people were joking about that chase down block compared to LeBron's chase down block. Like, dude, but you saw it right after. I think it was after Luke got that block. It was like the whole Spurs bench was going crazy.
Yeah, Cornette's the backup center. He becomes an instant San Antonio folk hero, making a huge play like that, the play of his life to block that pass. Like, right, and that was huge for them. They played good in the non-Wemby moments. I mean, that's been such a key of all those playoff have been whether they've won those non-Wemby minutes or not. They certainly won them there. Again, we'll get more back
Oh,
into
and
the Spurs here in a second.
even to that, like it just felt like, and I only know this because, and of course, I'll just preface this as I had the Wemby over 25 points in that game, and bro, he went into like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter with 22 points. Like he didn't have to be the offense. Was it frustrating for me? Yes, I was really pissed off, but like that speaks to the Spurs game plan and the Spurs ability is they didn't really need Wemby offensively at the end there. He was very much taking the offense off, it seemed like, and just focusing on absolutely like burying Chet Holmgren and making him literally a non-factor for the entire game.
Well, it worked. So,
Yeah.
hats off there.
I know.
For OKC's offseason, in terms of the financial wise, obviously SGA is untouchable. Certainly they could maybe try to get into a sweepstakes here. They have the resources, given all the picks, given all the young players to go after any free agent they want. I don't think they'll take a swing at Giannis and get the appeal, but just don't really I don't see them going in for Giannis. It doesn't feel like it fits the timeline right now. Like this team is built to be good for a long time, but I do think there will be some changes in a while. Some faces that have been in OKC for a long, like Lou Dort, for example. I think Lou Dort's gone, which is not a big deal when you have Case and Wallace and you have God, why am I blanking right now? Jeez, oh man, this is not good. AJ Mitchell, thank you. AJ Mitchell. I gotta go back to my prep sheet. I'm like, oh my God, just amateur hour here, especially when I said him earlier. But yeah, when you have Wallace and Mitchell, that's not as much of a big deal. They need to figure out what they want to do with Hartenstein. I feel like he'll probably be back. They've got some guys coming in as well. Like you've got with McCain, it basically signals I feel like Isaiah Joe is going to be gone. So I think maybe he's out there. Maybe they decide to move on from Aaron Wiggins too, but I mean, he's been a part of their rotation in the past. He's still on a pretty his contract is more team friendly, so I feel like they may not have to do that if they don't want to, but they're going to have other picks coming in too. That's the thing with all this is like they're going to have more bodies coming in, so
yeah, keep the young guys fresh, keep them going, honestly. And if you're OKC and you think anybody's worth selling high on, this would be the time to do it. Not saying that you should, but if you think you can get a bunch for him, not to keep harping on Chet, but Chet's about to start his extension that he signed, right? So his salary is rising from $13.7 million to $41.5 million. That is a hard bill to look at when you saw what happened in those last few games, knowing for the next few years, it's going to be Chet versus Wemby, and Chet can't become a shell of himself like that.
You're right.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I don't want to bail. Sorry to cut you off. You don't want to bail on him yet, though. That's my point. Is he's so young still? Like I understand that he had an absolute stinker, and to be quite honest, even in the championship run last year, he had moments that weren't as great. Yep. But you still won a title together. Like I'm not going to bail on the kid just yet.
Of course, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm more just saying going from 13 to 41 million is tough when you went out on a rough one. Williams is going from 6.5 to 41.5. Hartenstein, to your point, has a team option for 28.5 mil. Dort is a team option for 18.2 million. Like
Dort's gone. That's the most obvious one where I'm like, no, Lou Dort's gonna go for sure.
Unless like SGA, because those two are like the longest tenured ones there. Like unless SGA is like no, but then.
You just have you have the guys. You already have the guys on the roster to replace Lou Dort. And if anything with Lou Dort, like he's still a great defender. I don't think you take that. That's not going to go anywhere. He'll go get another contract off that alone. But offensively, he's kind of limited at this point too.
So the Thunder's projected salary next year is at $250.5 million, which is way past second apron. So, and I think this year they were 15th in the NBA. For salary. Yep, they were at 186.7 million. So I mean, you're like, that's almost 100 million plus added to your, salary. So that's going to be a lot coming through. I will be interested to see how that goes. I already know SGA was kind of commenting on it and just being like, we're going to let the office do what the office do. Like, we're going to sit back and let them handle it. So clearly they have faith. It's just going to be a lot. I'll be interested to see how much money they attempt to save, I guess, on this, $2 million tax bill that would trigger if they're over that second apron. So, where do you bring it down? Obviously, the expectations next year is right back at it. You should be winning the whole thing, conference finals, NBA finals. That's the goal. That's where they should be for OKC next year.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to watch them. Draft night, they're going to be interesting too, because again, they've got 12 and they've got 17. You certainly could package that to move up. If there's somebody you really want to target, because like you are right. It's a weird point now where, you want to develop these guys still and you want to bring in young guys, but you're certainly going to have championship or bust expectations again next season.
Yeah.
And so it is a weird balance to have to do those minutes. Topic is the same way. He's going to be back next year off injury. They have spent a 12 pick on him in the past. So yeah, definitely a lot of bodies to move around. I do think we'll start to see some changes here.
Nothing big though. Like, again, there's no like, other than the Chet stinker, and injuries, like I don't think there's anything from a team perspective that's like, you got to do this, like it. Yeah.
You don't overcorrect the championship core because you lost in the Western Conference Finals in 7 games.
Unless you want to get some bigger guys, like if you're going to get very specific to the Spurs, get some bigger guys that can shoot threes that are going to pull Wemby out of down. I mean, that's really it. But then are you
get Chet Holmgren to do that? Like, get that you have the guy on the roster.
Bro,
just tell Chet to shoot the basketball.
All off season, you're only shooting threes. Come do the Marc Gasol off season where you come back and all of a sudden you just light the league on fire with threes. And then what was that? Conor McGregor walk out after you hit him,
Him and Brook Lopez, man. The old like from that guard who truly just never shot threes and then successfully transitioned into the league of big men being able to shoot threes. So yeah, no doubt about that. Give them a lot of credit. Welcome everybody on the Drive Dish NBA podcast. My name is Kevin Rafuse. Joining me as always, my co-host Justin Cousart.
I didn't grab a stat today. We're just gonna straight talk NBA finals. So
yeah, that's cool. Listen, I'm with it. Finals have been super entertaining so far. I didn't expect the Knicks to be up 2-0. I did fully expect this to be 1-1. I thought San Antonio was going to bounce back after. Well, to be fair, I thought it was going to be San Antonio win the first game and then Knicks win the second game. After the Knicks won the first game, I said, San Antonio is probably going to win the second game. We'll get back into that in a sec. Like we said, Knicks.
Karl
Knicks
Anthony Towns
cruising.
said no, that is not going to be the case.
We got a lot to talk about there, and Cat is one of them. Because I mean, if you want to talk about people that I've been impressed with, and we've been talking about this for weeks, but like he's certainly near the top of that list.
I do have a stat for you that we could throw out there with the Knicks winning 13 straight now. That's the second longest streak by any team in NBA playoff history. There's our stat. Yeah. And depending on how the next 2 games go, we'll see. It could be 14 and 15, depending.
It's just crazy how bad they looked in the first 3 games of the Hawks series and then have morphed into a juggernaut since then, apparently. And like they look every bit of the contenders they are right now. Like I said, I talked about it last week a little bit. It didn't feel like anybody was giving the Knicks a chance to win the finals. I didn't really quite get why. That prediction's certainly going good so far. But hey, listen, there's a lot of basketball left. We covered a finals relatively recently where the Suns were up 2-0 and looked fully in control of their series and then proceeded to lose 4 straight to the Bucks. So listen, there's a lot of basketball left. We're excited, though, if these first 2 games are any indication of what it's going to look like. Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad, or read it on the podcast. If you're not an Apple user, Google Play Store, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Player FM, anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find us.
And we're on YouTube, Drive Dish NBA on YouTube. Subscribe, get notifications. Just like podcasts, you can watch the video version there as well.
Now, a word from our sponsors.
So we jump into the NBA Finals. Game 1, like we said, went to the Knicks, 105-95. Game 2 goes to the Knicks at like 9 seconds left in the game. 105-104, and that one very much was a coin flip. I mean, Wemby makes that shot. There's just little things here and there that was a little crazy last 10 seconds of the game, essentially. But to that, exactly what we talked about in the last episode that we were worried about with the Knicks Spurs. And we said the Knicks match up against the Spurs a lot better than they do against OKC. So if you're the Knicks, you want the Spurs because you've got Cat, you've got Mitchell, you got these guys who can rebound and frustrate Wemby a little bit because he is going to have to come out from just kind of hanging down low and blocking the rim. And then you got Jalen Brunson who likes these mid-range shots, and they're going down right now. Some of them are crazy wild shots, but they're going in. So you can't fight it. They match up well, and it's at least in the first two games worked in the Knicks' favor.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been such an interesting flow to the series because the first game, that's kind of the one you expected to be the Knicks to be rusty.
Sure.
The Spurs get a double-digit lead, and then, the Knicks just kind of swung it. Third quarter ends up tied. You end up, again, winning that game by 10 points for a game that you were down double digits. Then the opposite occurs last night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Knicks fully in control of this game. Spurs battle back from a double-digit deficit late. I mean, basically 6 minutes on. The Knicks offense just completely goes stagnant, goes cold. The Spurs go all the way back. But again, Jalen Brunson just absolutely heroic in the clutch, has just continued to be one of the best postseason clutch performers, frankly, in NBA history so far. There's enough of a sample size there now at this point. He would say game one, he was pretty rough for most of the game, but listen, makes big shots when it mattered. Last night, big shots when it mattered, only split the free throws, which probably isn't ideal, which thankfully didn't end up biting them in the rear end. But look, he's their closer. The other two guys on the Knicks that have really, and there's a lot of guys to talk about and their depth between Bridges and Shamet, but the two guys that have really stood out to me this series are Karl Anthony Towns, who what else can you be said about him? I mean, like you said, pulling Wemby outside of the paint, knocking down his three balls, being aggressive on the boards. He's fried Cornet in the non-Wemby minutes, just absolutely dominated those. But he's playmaking too. He's getting the ball and he's constantly making the right pass, making the extra play, putting guys in good positions to knock down shots. They have almost centered the offense around him. And that to me has been the big switch flip in all this. And more importantly for him too, on the defensive end, he's not taking stupid fouls. He's not getting baited into making mistakes the way I feel like he has in the past at points. So no, I'm extremely impressed with Karl Anthony Towns, and I'm extremely impressed with OG Anunoby as well, just flying everywhere defensively. Really getting the guys out in transition, hitting open shots, being able to get into the paint, work around Wemby, use his almost linebacker type frame. OG's been great. I mean, he just plays winning basketball. I feel like that's been on full display here. And listen, the Knicks are, I think, because game two, and I mean, obviously the focus is going to be on Wemby, right? At the end of the game and it's a shame because Wemby in the first half of game two, I thought was way too passive. He just wasn't getting enough involved. He was very involved in the second half. I mean, really was pretty dominant for the most part. Yeah. And, that is going to get lost because it was a disaster last sequence for Wemby. You missed that free throw. To have the turnover, Castle clearly isn't looking like you're not on the same page. Wemby doesn't take the ball up, and that puts Brunson back on the line, I should say. Again, I'm not as mad about the jumper. It is what it is. It just didn't go. It was a clean look. I want my best player taking that shot. And I understand the people who say, hey, he should be in the paint, do more there.
Well, and I appreciate Castle for coming out. They asked him about it, and he's like, bro, he makes that shot 9 times out of 10. This just happened to be the one that he didn't. We'll take that shot all day, and maybe tomorrow he makes that shot. And the game's an entirely different script at that point. So, I appreciate his guys coming out and kind of defending him on that a little bit too.
Yeah.
It was a wild sequence at the end of the game, and it was literally a coin flip at that point. And I know that's such a cliche to say in sports, but that's literally what that was. That whole last 10 seconds was a coin flip.
No, and I mean, I think that's where you got to be. You wonder about, and this is with the Spurs youth, where you wonder if this factors in now because, you take the game one gut punch, but I think you walk away from it and go, hey, we played great for 3 quarters. I think this game, you have the opportunity to get yourselves really off the mat here, put the pressure almost back on the Knicks a little bit, going back to MSG, kind of winning a game you have no business winning. put yourself in a position there, you get the stop you're looking for. And yeah, it just takes like right. I'm not going to be upset at that last shot. Like I'll live with that. I think Castle's right, being a good teammate there. But that turnover is brutal, and that's where again, you know, you talk about the emotions of when you go through big losses. Specifically we talked about with Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals, that game one loss. That kind of felt it like a little bit here, that game too. Just the way it happened. Like the fact that the Spurs had multiple chances to win that game and get the series tied, get some momentum back going to New York. Now where MSG is just going to be a madhouse.
Oh, yeah.
And to be fair, the Knicks have been kind of better on the road than they have been at home. So maybe that's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, I mean, losing 2 games in your home floor to start the series, there's just no way around it. Like it's hard to find a silver lining there. Game 3 for them is a must win. I don't think there's any need to sugarcoat that as well. They're not coming back from 3-0 against this team. The Spurs have played well. That's the thing, is like this has been an extreme, these games have been tight, and I think that's what you have to, and Mitch Johnson really needs to lock the guys in, and they need to look to their veteran leadership, because there are guys in this, like, look at Harrison Barnes, look at Kelly Olynyk, for example, guys that have been around the league for a long time. Like, you got to keep the belief in the locker room and say, hey, we played well for large portions of this series. Like, there are very real chances we had to win both these games. You pick off one and all of a sudden we're right back in this series.
Just takes one. Yep.
It just takes one, approach it with the urgency that you need to. But yeah, there's no way around it to sugarcoat it either. Like, the Spurs have put themselves in quite a early hole that's going to be a little tough to dig themselves out of. Like, this Knicks team is good. This is always, I thought, going to be a tight series. But I say all this to say, I think the Spurs are going to win game 3.
Okay.
We'll see what happens after that, though. But like the way the Knicks are playing, man, Knicks, all you got to do is get one, and then you feel good going the rest of the way, even up 3-1.
Yeah, I weirdly feel like it's a sweep. I know that's kind of aggressive.
Okay, that is aggressive.
It feels like that's where it's going. The Knicks are going to go 15 in a row to end this season. Like, it would be crazy.
No, it would be mad, because I don't think there's anyone that would look around. But you'd have to give it up to them at that point. Yeah. If the Knicks were to sweep the Spurs, this would truly be one of the greatest, not just like teams in playoff. Like, it would be one of the greatest teams in NBA history playoff wise.
Oh, dude,
and
I know.
That would just be so unexpected.
It just feels like it. Like, the first 2 games on the road, winning the first 2 games on the road hasn't happened since 93, 95. The Bulls did it and the Rockets did it. Both won titles. I want to give the Spurs like the benefit of the doubt to win, but like, you're now going to New York, and like, I don't know, man. A young team like that in New York with I mean, you've seen the social media of Knicks fans in New York right now. Like, that place is gonna be so loud. I weirdly get the vibe it's a sweep. I hate it. I'll just leave it at that. I did want to bring up Josh Hart, for how much we're seeing him on social media, isn't really playing like significantly great, at least if you're looking at his numbers from an offensive standpoint. I mean, you're not expecting him to drop a ton of points, but like, he was 1 for 5 in the first game. What I think's funny, though, is he played 26 minutes in the first game, 1 for 5, shot a 20% field goal percentage, 0 for 3 from 3. He had 6 assists and 15 rebounds. It's such a wild stat for game 1 for Josh Hart on that. The most rebounds on the team, out-rebounded Cat by like 3 rebounds. So pretty funny, but just an observation, because I feel like he's all over social media right now with the post-game antics and all that stuff. So even if he's like, I mean, he was a plus 22, of a plus 22 in that first game for those rebounds and assists. So he's obviously doing numbers on the court. He's helping out, but he also feels like he's the guy that's kind of the comedic relief too, for how serious the playoffs are. You need somebody that kind of embraces that like lightheartedness, and it really feels like Josh Hart is a part of that right now, and how much fun those guys actually seem like they're having. It just feels like it's all clicking right now. I hope the Spurs get one, but I'm pretty convinced the Knicks are going to be the champs this year, and they're doing it in 4 or 5, and I think it might be 4.
I mean, the vibes are certainly high right now. There's no doubt about it. I mean, for the Spurs, I don't know what they're going to do in the non-Wemby minutes. You know, we
Right.
mentioned it briefly, is that Cornette's been getting roasted. I don't know what the solution is there. Like, do you play Carter Bryant more? Do you put Harrison
Sure.
Barnes in the game more? I don't know. You know, maybe you try something else there, but because it is, you like, Wemby has looked fatigued at times too, and I think part of that is the conditioning with this. He's never gone on a run like this before, but that's going to be a big factor for them, not just now, but moving forward as well. You know, it's not that Cornette's a bad backup center. He's
Yeah.
definitely pretty good,
Yeah.
but he's just getting killed by the Knicks right now. The other reality is, or the one positive for the Spurs is that Dylan Harper's just looked great. Like, Dylan Harper has been every bit of the spark plug off the bench he's needed
Yep.
to be. Just has not looked hesitant at all during any of these moments here in the NBA Finals, playing big minutes already. Like, he's been the one guy who's like really stepped up
Yep.
consistently. The entire run has knocked his shots down. I think they need to be playing him a lot more. The lineups with him and Devin Vassell and Wemby have been really successful. I think you probably need to lean into that as much as possible now. Like, we're running out of time to tinker. So we'll see. I do, like I said, I think the Spurs bounce back and win game 3. I do think the Knicks are in a really good position to win this series. And, you know, we'll talk about it if they do. Like we said, it's going to be party's going to be crazy up there, to say the
It
least.
already is.
But it will.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're going crazy after 2 games, but like,
That's
there's
what
still
I
a
mean.
long way to go. Like, you know,
I know.
as Kobe said, the job is not done. You know, there have
I
been
know.
plenty of teams who've got 2 wins in these series. Like, this Spurs team is very good. It's competitive. They're not going to roll over and die. And no one should be pronouncing them dead. You're out of your mind
Nope.
if you
Nope.
believe that.
Yeah, no, not at all. I think one thing they could also look into a little bit is a few more, a little more ball security on the
Yeah.
turnovers. They're about 14 and a half. We'll round it up to 15 compared to the Knicks who are at 12. You bring a few of those downs and stop some of the points after turnovers, like you're right back into it. So, um, it's been a wild ride. I'm curious to see where it goes, but man, oh man, it has been a fun one. And
Yeah, I
and
mean,
and as much as being Philly people, we're supposed to hate New York for whatever reason, it doesn't feel that way. And I know a lot of, at least in my family, it's a lot of Nova fans that are like, no, this is a Nova thing, not a Knicks thing. And I'm like, okay,
well,
but it does feel good.
no, it's a weird, and again, this is with the Homer hat on, because
Yeah,
right, like, the New York and Philly have that natural East Coast rivalry, and we've kind of talked about this in a little
yeah,
bit, but like, with the Knicks having it been 53 years, you know, with them, like, the loyalty there is something that it reminded me, like I said, with the Eagles, when the Eagles broke
yeah,
their Super Bowl drought, like, a Knicks title would kind of remind me about that. Like, I respect the other one that I compare it to is when Cleveland broke their citywide drought, when the Cavs won in 2016, like, where it's just like the ending of a real life existential crisis across the city.
yeah.
um it is kind of ironic too, just with the Knicks. Like, it's, what have we talked about in all these past years? It's been the lack of depth. It's been that's always what's bit them, and here that's what's really propelling them. Like, they're getting, great minutes for Mitchell Robinson, which is huge given his pinky injury. Like, that's a
Hmm.
big, like, concern going into the series. Like, they're expecting to play heavy minutes. I mean, shoot, on the Wemby jumper, like, he was the guy that was in the game playing defense on Wemby. Like, Mitch played solid defense there.
Yeah.
It's Jose Alvarado, who they got at the deadline. It's Landry Shamet, who they got for nothing. It's Deuce McBride, who's been a homegrown bench guy for a while. Like, that's what's giving them the breaks right now. Like, you compare that to the Spurs, obviously Harper, who we just mentioned, has been phenomenal off the bench, but like, besides that, there's not anybody that's really, like, blown the doors off. Like, Keldon Johnson hasn't really shot the ball well too much in his minutes. Like we said, Cornette's been getting kind of fried when he's been in the game. So,
Mhm.
that is another matchup to watch as well. Like, the Spurs probably need a little more out of their bench if they're going to keep going in this series. Their starters have been good for the most part. I mean, Champagne's 3-point percentage has been good. Like I said, I liked what I saw out of Wemby in the sense that he was way more assertive in the second half. Like, that's just the other reality too, is like, there's no reason for Wemby not to be in attack mode at all times. Like, especially, trying to get Cat in foul trouble. Like, that's something that he struggled with in the past. Like,
Yeah.
you need to be continually attacking that role. I don't want him settling either, or being out of the flow the way it felt like he was in the first half of game 2.
And it did feel like they brought in De'Aaron Fox to be the number 2, if not, if Wemby's the number 1 scorer, De'Aaron Fox should be number 2 in terms of offense. At least in these 2 games in this series, he's more like the fourth because of Harper and Castle playing so well. But De'Aaron Fox, I know coming back from that injury, but in the regular season was averaging closer to 18, rounded up to 19 points. So like maybe you could nitpick a little bit there and say, hey, De'Aaron Fox, we want closer to, 16, 17 points out of you in this series, average. You should be the number 2 guy, if not Wemby. But if Dylan Harper and Castle are already kind of taken over that role, then we are where we are. But De'Aaron Fox being fourth on that list when you look at just points per game in this series feels a little off. That's why they brought you here. That's why they went and got you from the Kings.
Yeah, I agree. I wonder how much of that is his ankle still hurting.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, and I very much acknowledge that it could be like a. I mean, what it's been? He's been back for like 3 games. Like it's not.
I hope it's that. I hope it's that, and he's not just playing bad. I'm trying to shoot you some bail here, De'Aaron.
Right. Exactly. No, I get it. So, but at least worth mentioning that, like, at least on the pecking order, the scoring should be Wemby, Fox, Harper, Castle. Like that's kind of the top 4 in theory. So
yeah, 100%. And I wonder, I they need him to play minutes. I don't think they should scale him back too much.
No.
I don't think there's a situation where you just like start taking his minutes away. But all right. So should we switch gears here a little bit? Let's get into some Immaculate Grid.
Let's do it. All right, let me share. I realize I have to do that. I was like, oh, why didn't he share the screen? Oh, right, that's me.
I have sharing capacity. Like I could if I wanted to. Side note, have you seen 82-0?
No.
We'll talk about it off the mic. 82-0 is where you random generator, you get era, you get a team, and you build an NBA lineup. And I built a lineup.
That's fun.
Yeah, I built a lineup that they said it was going to win 69 games, and I had like Steph Curry, Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant, Larry Bird, and Moses Malone, and it broke me. I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, okay, 69 games, okay. I
don't even know. We should rebuild we should just go through. Well, we should see how accurate it is, right? Like go back, put in all the OKC team from last year and see if it says the same amount of wins as they actually had. Like that's what I would want to do is like test it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
See if it actually gets it. So,
all right. So the Immaculate Grid, you can always watch on YouTube. Just search Driving Dish NBA podcast for the podcast listeners. Our grid from left to right this week, you got the Wizards, you got the Celtics, and you got All-Star. And from top to bottom, you got our rows, I should say. You got the Heat, you got the Nets, and you got 20,000 career points. A little bit of different teams here. I feel like we haven't had the Wiz in a while. I don't feel like we have the Nets too often. So it's kind of a good one there. All right, anybody? No Elfrid Payton connection, unfortunately. Sorry.
Mike Miller? Heat or Wizards?
Yeah, he definitely works. Mike Miller definitely works for Heat Wizards. I feel like there's a few that work for Heat Wizards.
That was the first one that came to my head. Did Oladipo do Wizards? He did.
He did Heat for sure. I don't think he played for the Wizards.
He was on Pacers, Orlando, obviously. Yeah, I don't think he ever made it to. I don't think he ever made it up there. Okay, let's see. Who else kind of pops off right off the rip?
My number one, the first person that came to mind for me for Heat, well, the number one answer for Heat and Celtics is going to be Shaq, just because of Shaq's popularity.
Yeah.
The other player that jumped out kind of from that era that I know played for Heat and Celtics is Antoine Walker. I think he'll be a high answer there as well. There's a bunch recently, though.
Jason Terry?
I'm trying to remember. I don't think Terry ever played for Miami. He definitely played for the Celtics.
Did he ever make it to the Nets? Celtics Nets? I don't think so.
It would have been late, but I don't remember if he did.
Do we think? So then we obviously could do Paul Pierce with Nets Celtics.
Yeah, Paul Pierce,
that'll
and
be
then
popular.
KG too. KG works in that as well.
I guess my thought would be, which one do we think would be used for the 20,000 plus points? And then use that one at the other one.
Well, Celtics for 20K points, I feel like has so many options too, or more options than the typical team, I should say.
Yeah.
Again, just as my sneaky one that he will work for the Celtics. But it always cracks me up because he has 20,001 points as Joe Johnson.
Joe Johnson. That's right. Yeah, because he's like right
it's
at
so
it.
funny. Yeah,
he's like
right at the mark.
Should we do that for Celtics 20?
We do that for Celtics in 20.
Let's do that. I know that's just because we play it a lot, but
whatever. It's funny.
There he is, 2%. Okay. All right.
I mean, other guys that would have worked were like Bird. Paul Pierce, I think, has 20K. Kevin Garnett's probably gonna have 20K too.
Did Luis Scola play for Nets? I feel like he was on the Wizards at one point, and I can't tell or remember if he was Nets or Heat at any point in his career. I don't know enough about Luis.
I'm trying to think, man.
Such a funny thing to have
that
to be
is
like,
such a
man,
random.
I don't know
because it's funny because I associate it with the Rockets more than anything.
I might be thinking Heat because red jersey, and that might be where I'm getting it from. Okay.
Wizards 20K, All-Star 20K is going to have how much time do you have?
We could do Dwight Howard there.
For All-Star and 20K?
No. Well, I guess yes, but also Wizards 20K, couldn't we? He was on the Wizards at one point.
Dwight Howard was definitely on the Wizards at one point.
He's gotta have 20K. He probably works in both of those. Well, honestly, and then wasn't he on the Nets? We could probably do. Well, no, you got to be All-Star on the team, don't you? I think you.
Yeah, you do have to be an All-Star on the team. Like I'm trying to think who else would work. I mean, Wizards and 20K points. The number one answer is going to be Michael Jordan. If we really want to get into it.
Yeah, John Wall.
No way, John Wall had 20K.
You don't think?
No way.
Okay.
20K is a lot, dude.
Westbrook would work.
Oh, Russ would work. Oh, I kind of like Russ there.
Westbrook definitely has 20, right?
Yeah, he has to.
Right.
I'd be stunned if he did it. I mean, so if we go out on that,
18 is kind of wild that it's so high, but I guess
he was recent. He had them in the playoffs. Like who? Because there's nobody else. I mean, Arenas never had 20.
Oh, was Arenas on Nets or Heat at any point? That would be a good one.
He might be on the Heat, but I'm not 100% sure about it.
Who else was there around that time? Beal, like Otto Porter.
Yeah.
Who else?
Nene.
Kuminga didn't end.
No, Kuminga's only on the Warriors and the
not
the
Kuminga,
Hawks now.
Kuzma. I'm thinking Kuzma.
Yeah. Kuzma was on the Wiz. Kuz was never on the Nets. He was never on the Heat.
No. I'm trying to think. Gortat. Who else?
Robin Lopez might have been on the Nets in the Robin Lopez is definitely on the Wizards. I don't know if he was. Man,
did the brothers ever play together in the?
They definitely played together, but it was in Milwaukee. I don't know if they played together on the Nets.
Dragon. Not Bender. Gordon Dragic. Did he end up on the Wiz from the Heat?
He did, I think. I want to say he was definitely on the Nets too.
I don't remember him on the Nets, but that would be cool. I couldn't remember if he was on. I know he was on the Heat. Like I know that for a fact. The Wizard
was better about him being on the Nets than I do on the Wiz. Oh, the Nets and the Heat don't even match up. I don't feel good about him on the Wiz.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't remember him on the Wiz.
Who's random but recent that works for Nets and Wiz? Spencer Dinwiddie works for Nets and Wiz.
Dinwiddie, let's do it. Oh, that's right, because he got all his salary in crypto. That's so weird that I remember that.
9%. Wow.
Oh, listen, man, that crypto story was pretty popular. I'll tell you.
Oh my God. All right.
Okay.
Wizards and Heat.
Celtics Nets. Wouldn't Blake Griffin work?
Yeah, Blake Griffin definitely works.
Griffin works.
Yep.
Griffin works. Porzingis was Celtics and Wizards at one point, but neither of the other two.
Correct.
Who else? Kind of younger, like a Shamit type.
No, I know. I'm trying to remember if Isaiah Thomas ever played for the Nets. Oh, I mean, Kyrie works there too. We mentioned
Oh,
Kyrie. Kyrie
Kyrie.
Irving works
That'll
there.
be high though. That'll be a high one.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, I know there's a Kyle Korver didn't end up on any of them. I'm trying to think of like a 3-point shooter.
Oh, Jeff Green works there. Immaculate Grid darling. Jeff Green works for
For
Celtics and Nets as well.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that one. I'm down with Jeff Green if you want.
We can do. I haven't done Jeff in a while. It feels
Mhm.
chalky, but whatever. I'm not mad at it. Give Uncle Jeff some love.
Hell yeah, Jeff Green. There he is.
1%. Wow.
Um,
I guess there were a lot of popular answers there.
Do you think Haslam ever made All-Star?
No. That's funny. I mean, because he was good at one point.
I was there forever. Yeah, I was just trying to think. Well, obviously D Wade, no, but I'm thinking Bosch. Bosch was All-Star.
Bosch is
right?
definitely an all-star. Yeah.
That'd be at least the lowest of the three that people would
Bosch
say
would be the lowest of the three,
popularity-wise.
right? Because I mean, yeah, Wade, LeBron, Shaq.
Did Bam get it? Bam's had to
Bam,
have gotten it at one point,
Bam's
right?
gotten it. Jimmy's got it.
Did what's his name get it? Tyler?
No, I don't think
Hero at
Tyler
any
Hero
point?
got it.
That'd be interesting. Who
Yeah,
else was like?
Hero would be lower if there was going to be an all-star.
I just don't know if he got it. Like
I'm not
that would be
100%
such.
either.
Yeah, that's the part. I'm not worried.
Like
I'm
I know
not-
Bam.
not
I
confident.
know Bam did. I'm not 100% about Tyler Hero.
Bam. I feel like Bam would be high because it's recent. I feel like Wade would be high because he's like the Heat person. Shaq will be high because he's popular. LeBron will be high because he's LeBron. I feel like Bosch, at least out of that group, is going to be potentially the lowest.
Yeah, the only other one I can think about is just like if you go back to the 90s and do Alonzo Mourning.
So
Alonzo Mourning, I feel like would be
maybe higher than Bosch. I don't know.
I'm fine with Bosch if you want to do Chris Bosch there.
Let's do Bosch. If I could spell it right. 11%. Okay. Interesting. I'd be interested to see what Alonzo's number was.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like they got to be similar. I mean, LeBron, Shaq, and Wade are going to be the three highest for sure.
That's what I was thinking too.
Oh man, Tyler Hero did make an all-star team. Wow, how about that?
Damn,
he did.
I bet that's low.
They won
I bet
all-star
that's
team.
low.
Yeah,
I
think
bet that's low.
That was probably the lowest.
Okay, Wizards, Heat, Celtics, Heat. All-Stars going to be easy. 20 points All-Stars going to be easy.
Yeah, I mean, if you want Nets All-Stars, there's so many.
Yeah.
I mean, KD, Harden, Kyrie, Jason Kidd,
Lopez?
I don't know if Lopez made it there.
Did what's his name on the Knicks make it? Bridges? Did he make it?
Oh, dude, that's a great question actually, because he might have.
He was cooking for them.
He was. I'm not 100%, but that's actually a really good one. Pierce and Garnett, I'm interested if they made it late enough in their career there. My one who I think might be low here, though, who I kind of think we should go with, who I'm almost positive made it on the Nets. Dude, Stephon Marbury.
Marbury, okay.
Stephon Marbury early in the 2000s. Legend on NBA Street.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I'm almost positive he was an all-star there. And if not, I'll take the L here. But yeah, 100%. Nice.
Okay. All right. Well, 20 points, All-Stars, easy. Should we try to knock out Wizards, Heat, Celtics, Heat?
Well, just give me a rapid fire on the 20K All-Star. First person that comes to mind.
You don't like when I do rapid fire, though.
No, hit me. Just don't say Michael Jordan. You say Michael Jordan, I'm throwing it out.
No, I think we should do, to me, I think if we're going to do 20-point All-Star, because there's so many Heat, I think we could do D Wade here. It would be really low.
All right, sure.
I think Wade will be low here because he's probably used in the other one. Yeah. See, there you go. 1%.
All right,
Yeah.
nice.
I was thinking he'd be using the other stuff. So, all right.
All right.
Celtics Heat, Wizards Heat.
I mean, Celtics, like we said, we got Shaq, we got Antoine Walker. Josh Richardson played for both.
Ooh. Did Olenek? I'm pretty sure Olenek played for both.
He definitely played for Boston.
Hawes.
I don't think Hawes did. I think
Olenek was definitely on the Heat.
He was definitely on the Celtics too.
Yeah, he would definitely work for that.
I would
do
do Olenek there. I would do
Olenek is definitely on both of those. Yeah. I remember him being a little bit of a problem.
I feel like he was on the Wizards too, but I'm not 100% about that at all.
8%
very 100. Wow. I mean,
that's kind of funny. Wizards Heat. Okay. Try to think of some weird ones. Anybody like random in a recent trade or just some random one-off that ended up there?
One of the Morris brothers, I feel like, I think Markieff works. Markieff was definitely on the Wizards.
We said Mike Miller, right?
Mike Miller, we did say. Yeah, Mike Miller's the first one you said. So he definitely works there.
Mike Miller. Oh, man.
I feel like Nick Young, I think, works there too.
Swaggy?
I feel like did Swaggy play for the Heat?
I don't remember him on the Heat, but
he definitely played for the Wizards because the Sixers got him from the Wizards low key way back in the day.
I don't remember if he was on the Heat. I don't know. We could try it. He's like a go-to for the podcast. But...
No, if I'm going to use a chalky like go-to guy, I'd rather use Keefe because Keefe I'm 100% about.
Yeah, you want to do Keefe, Morris?
Yeah, I guess I just don't have anybody better. I like really thought I did, but
it's Markieff, right?
It's Markieff. No, it's definitely Markieff. Yeah, I weirdly know that 100%.
Yeah.
But very nice. All right. Keep coming through.
Later. Let's see. Okay, so there's 36 of them for this.
Who are the top answers there?
Rod, Otis, Richard Lewis.
Rashard Lewis. Okay.
Rashard Lewis. Sorry. Yeah.
Juwan Howard. That makes sense.
Right. Okay. Ariza.
Dude, DeLon Wright is really an immaculate grid darling. I feel like I say that every time I see that guy, but he's everywhere. Mike Miller, you were right about. Jerry Stackhouse, that would have been a good one.
Bibby would have been a good one too. He's low. Played 2 games for the Wizards. That's it.
Yeah, I would have had no idea Mike Bibby played for the Wizards. Karan Butler's a good one, sneaky back in the day. 12
All-Stars. Wow, they got 29 All-Stars for the Nets.
I believe that, honestly. Because, like, dude, Kid...
Oh, it's not going to... Oh, it is. Okay, it is.
No, it is. KD, Harden, Kyrie, who we mentioned. D'Lo. D'Lo's a good one, that one. Yeah, it's a good one. Okay.
I forgot about D'Lo.
Joe Johnson makes sense. He was really good that year. Brook Lopez did make it. Okay. D. Will.
Devin Harris, a
good one. Jason Kidd, we mentioned. Vince Carter. Kenyon Martin, okay. He did make it that year. Who got that?
Buck.
Kenny Anderson, Derek Coleman, Buck Williams, Michael Ray Richardson. You get that one. Buck Williams. Irving. Yeah, Irving would have been the only boomer one I would have got there. Oh, Rick Barry there. Nice. Yeah, I would have never got that.
No, for real. That was crazy.
Right. Let's go down the most popular answers. Let's see who we got.
Okay, hold on. I just wanted to see Dinwiddie's there. Shabazz again. Dudley. He was a go-to name for the podcast for a while there. Okay.
All right, so most popular answers are for Heat and Wizards, Juwan Howard. For Heat and Celtics, oh, we didn't even mention Ray Allen. That's crazy. Ray Allen getting that over Shaq, too, is genuinely kind of surprising. Dwayne Wade for Heat All-Star. Paul Pierce for Wizards and Celtics. We actually didn't mention it, or Wizards and Nets, I should say. We didn't mention him there either.
Oh, when did he end up on the...
he had the game winner at the Wizards. You'll remember he said, I called game when he fell over and hit the bank shot.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Real late in his career, Paul Pierce was there.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then so for Celtics and Nets, it was Kevin Garnett. For Nets All-Star, Jason Kidd. Wizards, 20K points, Michael Jordan. Celtics, 20K points, Larry Bird. All-Star, 20K points, LeBron James. If we want to do our grid one last time for Heat and
Celtics. There you go.
For Heat and Wizards, we got Markieff Morris. For Heat and Celtics, Kelly Olynyk. For Heat All-Star, Chris Bosh. For Nets and Wizards, Spencer Dinwiddie. For Nets and Celtics, Jeff Green. For Nets Nets All-Star Stephon Marbury. For Wizards, 20,000 career points, Russell Westbrook. For Celtics, 20K points, Joe Johnson. And for 20K points, an All-Star, Dwayne Wade. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. Appreciate you guys, as always. Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. We'll read them on the podcast. If you are not an Apple user, anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find us.
And find us on YouTube. You can watch the show there for specifically the Immaculate Grids, but if you want to watch the rest, you can. Hit us up there. Drive and Dish NBA on YouTube. You'll get new notifications when episodes are coming out.